And hello, everybody. Welcome to the J Squared podcast. Jesse, Kass, and Jayson Williams back with you again for another exciting episode. Jason, who do we have this week?
Ted Levine, the iconic movie actor. One of my favorites.
I know we're not just sports. We talk about sports. We have great sports guests, but as you've seen on the show, we have a lot of great actors as well. And it's hard to top Ted Levine. He is an iconic, incredible actor, and he has a lot of great stories about acting, about politics, about sports. We touch everything here, so it's a lot of fun.
Let's go.
All right, we're now joined on our guest here on the J Squared podcast. It is the acting legend, Ted Levine. Ted, thanks so much for taking the time and coming on the show.
My pleasure.
And Ted, you've been in so many roles, almost 100 credits. You've been acting since the early 80s. I guess we'll just start at the beginning. I know you started in Chicago in theater, but what initially from the beginning kind of sparked your interest in acting that made you want to become an actor way back when?
I don't know. I think probably making my mother laugh was the thing that made me want to be an actor. It seemed like if I was to do a gag or something, I'd get her laughing. That was the thing. I don't know. I started in college. Well, in high school, actually, I did a little bit of theater. I was kind of a screwed up teenager. I was doing too many drugs and whatnot. And kind of became a little withdrawn and catatonic. And somebody basically dared me to be in a play in high school. Somebody else dropped out, and I'm like, "Yeah, I'll do it. Why not?"
Yeah.
And so, yeah, and it was kind of fun. I guess I got the bug at that point, it was really hard and a little bit scary, very scary, as a matter of fact, because you got to get your poop in a group in a short period of time, and if you don't, it's like, you're up there. I think a dream that a lot of actors have is to appear on stage naked without having known your lines,
Right.
So,
yeah.
You have to. I did all kinds of things. I was pretty good at school, but I would just lose interest if I could get something done, and I'd just blow it off because I could do it. But with the acting deal, you just sort of had to get it together to do it. So I think that's the thing that intrigued me most about it, and still does. It's yeah.
Well, Ted, let me tell you a story. So,
okay, please.
We're playing. I'm playing for the 76ers. My first 2 years in the league. It's 1992. You are iconic, but your iconic role as Buffalo Bill in Silence of the Lambs, right? So we got a bus ride with from Philadelphia to play the Knicks that day. And it's an evening game. We all get on the bus. You remember before y'all won Best Picture for the Oscar, that tape was already released on DVD. I don't know if you knew that, but it was on DVD. And we had a bus driver. He looked like Miles Davis, but he was a man of God. Right? He was no nonsense. So I got on the bus early because I never got any playing time before Charles Barkley and all the rest of the stars got on Manute Bol. So I went in and told the driver to put this tape in. So I figured we'll watch this. Now, no way should a rookie be watching anything or deciding this. So I put this on. The bus driver starts driving in about 20 minutes. So I go, "Hey, Rev, hit the button, play the ball." And he didn't know what he was doing. He shouldn't have been driving and playing with the DVD, but he hits it. And what comes on? Your character, right? Buffalo Bill comes on, and it's the scene where you're dancing, like you just said, naked with the tuck going around, and everybody looks up at the camera on the bus. Until going, what the hell is this? Who put this on and what is it? So Miles, the Reverend, pulls the bus over, right? He's trying to pull this thing out because it doesn't look. And I'm going, no, it's not one of those movies. I'm going, Ted, please get to the part where, put the lotion in the basket, get to that part. It's just you dancing around. They pull this thing out. We end up almost being late to a New York Knicks game. We lost. We got blown out. Charles Barkley thought it was hysterical, but Jim Lyman, the coach, didn't think it was. So they blamed the loss on you, Ted. The hell was we watching?
Let me ask you something. Has anybody in the locker room done that? Yeah, the tuck. Come on. Who's got the courage? Who has the courage? Who has the courage?
I don't know if we can do it in the locker room, but hey, I'll be honest. I think I've done the tuck. I think I've done.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have, and
Jesse,
probably you have too, young man.
Jesse, don't leave me out there, Jesse. Have you done the tuck, Jesse?
Well, I haven't been in the locker rooms like you have, so I think
not the locker room.
just hanging out
on your own,
or hanging in, whatever you want to.
I got a story. My wife was on a plane to Vegas. It was like girls' trip to Vegas.
Yeah.
And there were a bunch of boys on the plane. Everybody's getting liquored up, having a good time. And they're talking to the girls. And the guys are saying, yeah, we're going for this, for a stag party. And, we do this thing. It's like the third time we've done it. Somebody get drunk enough like that, and they go ahead and do that thing that weirdo did in the movie. Da 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 da. My wife's going, I'm married to that weirdo.
Oh, that's amazing.
Anyway, moving right along.
Yeah. Ted, I just want to know, because obviously that role, I'm sure, led to many other roles, but also
actually it didn't. That role led to a lot of can I cuss on this?
Oh
shit?
Yeah, let it fly.
Okay. A lot of shit, because everybody was, the association that was made to me. First of all, it kind of freaked people out, so I didn't work for a while after that. And then the stuff that was presented to me was just nasty, stupid, nowhere near the level that the Ted Talley's script was, So and then ultimately later on, once it was kind of assimilated and so forth, and people said, "Oh yeah, that was cool, that was good work." Then yeah, I did do some work, but I was unemployed for a while.
Wow. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, obviously, eventually it led to stuff, but how hard was that to get out of that kind of like typecasting part where
pretty hard
playing villains?
It wasn't until I did a thing called Georgia. Jennifer Jason Leigh was involved in a project that Ulu Grossbart directed, and she went to bat for me and really worked hard to let me play the part of this normal stay-at-home kind of dad, dude. And I'm forever in her debt, because I think it allowed people to see me in a different light, because I think that the Silence of the Lambs confused a lot of people about
yeah, no question about it.
And it was such a scary character, Ted, to be honest with you. I'm a guy who pretty much, stay away from horror movies, which that was a horror movie. I don't care what anybody says. That scared the heck out of me. If I had to meet you, and I always wanted to meet you, from watching you over the years, I was like, if I had to meet him, I could not meet him in the backwoods, or outhouse, a hen house, a hog pen, a trailer, a truck stop, a barn. I won't even meet him in Savannah, Georgia. I won't even meet you in Alabama. I would have to meet you in Macy's window on Christmas on 34th Street to feel comfortable with you, because it was such a move. And then as soon as I started getting comfortable with you, in Jurassic World and all the other stuff, I got it down there, Big Sky. But then what was scary was The Hill Has Eyes. It threw me right back into being scared of you again,
That was a rough shoot.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, the scene where this is Bob, Big Bob, that's the character. He gets burned alive, right?
Yep.
And they did this effect. First of all, they tied me to a tree, this prosthetic tree. They built this tree out in the desert, so that they tied me to. But this thing was crap. It was this falling down thing. It was just made to look, but they went ahead and they tied me up on there like Jesus, I'm tied up on this tree. And the flames were, for the most part, special effects and so forth, but there were flames there. But I was standing on this little platform, and we shot that in Morocco. It was cheaper to go to Morocco to shoot New Mexico.
Wow.
Than it was to go to New Mexico and shoot New Mexico. They flew everybody to Morocco to make, to a desert someplace out,
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm tied to this tree, and they've got a camera rig that's like 300 yards away on a pogo stick, which is just a thing that you hold that holds the camera still. And they've got it running at like three frames a minute, so that it's just and they're running across the field while I'm acting in slow motion on top of this thing, so that when they run it at normal speed, it will look like I'm writhing around. But I had to act in slow motion for about 5 minutes while these guys ran across the desert with this like Three Stooges effect. I mean, they could have affected it in the but it was just just cheap theatrics. I was kind of intrigued by the idea, but standing up there and moving, I'm like this. I'm going. Acting in slow motion while they're doing this gag, and all the while this tree is like falling apart behind me, and I'm about to do a face. Like I say, I'm tied up here. This is about to fall over, and I'm about to do a face plant in the dirt.
Oh no! And
I'm trying to talk to I'm going, hey, this isn't very safe. This is none of the cats around me spoke English because it was just all there was all Farsi and Arabic,
yeah, and
French. I mean, it was ridiculous. Anyway, I earned my money on that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. Acting in slow motion probably should get double pay, right?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And Ted, I loved you in how you just take over every scene that you're in. And I'm not just blowing smoke because you're on our podcast. Like, I love watching you because I don't care who you're on with. Shut Island, I grew up hanging out with Leo every once in a while in the clubs and partying and stuff. And Leonardo DiCaprio, I'm not name dropping, but even as great as he is, even in that scene, you still take over whenever it is. So like, I will watch a movie just to watch your parts, just to watch your scene, because you just take over everything that you're in.
Well, thank you very much for saying that. I guess, I should take that as a compliment, but I shouldn't do that. And my theory is it's basically about, we're telling a story, We're telling a story as a group, collectively, and that's sort of what's so fun about it, You're sitting around, you're telling a story with friends, and something that happened in common, and everybody kind of chimes in, and creates this picture, and that's what we do in the, television and movies, and theater. Have you done any of this, Jesse? Have you you've done any acting?
No,
yes.
I've done primarily. I've done primarily just like sports broadcasting and hosting podcasts like this.
Well, your grandpa was an acting teacher, though, right?
He was, yeah. Peter Kass was an acting teacher at NYU for a long time. So it runs in the family. I never got the itch myself, but yeah, it definitely runs in the family. And I know Jason, he was talking about it on our last episode. He definitely has some acting experiences as well, but no, that never quite my path.
Oh, that's right. I saw that. Right. You're the guy that got dunked on, right?
Yeah, Coming to America, indie face. I'm an indie face guy. Good, Ted.
Coming to America.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy should have got a damn Academy Award for The Nutty Professor.
Yes.
That was incredible. It was incredible. And all the characters that he did and all the work that he did on that thing with the prosthetics and so forth. But that just blows my mind. To this day, a little Hercules.
Yeah, no.
I'd have fought so bad it had a chain hanging from it. And grandma, those characters were just off the hook.
They were
great.
Unbelievable.
Great,
they were amazing.
Yeah.
And Ted, I know you mentioned that you it all started with you wanted to make your mom laugh, and you've obviously played some dramatic roles, but even in some roles, I feel like your roles are always so nuanced where you're able to inject levity in certain moments. Do you still have that tie to, I guess, comedy and trying to make people laugh?
Absolutely, man. The best thing you can do as a performer is to make somebody laugh. And it doesn't matter where it's at, in the thing. But I have a theory. Laughter and tears come from the same muscle, in your gut. And they're very close.
Yeah.
And however you can get to that muscle, that's the essence of human emotion, I think. And somehow so yeah, they go hand in hand, very close. Laughter and drama, pain.
Absolutely.
Well, you definitely made people laugh in Monk,
Monk was a gas. Yeah. I was a straight man in Monk. Yeah. They're talking about coming back and doing a monk reprisal about getting us together again. I don't know if I'm supposed to be talking about that or not. But, yeah, but we might come back together and do some more.
Well, on that note, like how is it difficult at all for, Monk was a show that was on for 7-8 years, then obviously hasn't been on the air since, or finished filming in about 2009. So you come back, was it 13 years later? Is it hard to find that memory of that role, or do you just dive right back in?
Oh, it would be, the role is pretty well ingrained in me.
Yeah.
So that, but I mean, dealing with age, that'll be interesting to see what, because I mean, Stottlemeyer's no more. He's got to be. He's a retired cop now.
Yeah.
So, I have ideas as to where he's been and what he's been up to. He's historically, I don't know. It's kind of fun. I've pitched ideas to the writers and so forth. Always have, but as to what Stottlemeyer had been up to for, God, how long has it been since 2008, 15 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Ted, I know you're filming on becoming a guard in Central Florida, because sometimes I'm down here in Florida, so sometimes I feel like I'm in a third world country politically.
How about the New York, the Post's headline about Trump announcing is it Florida man announces his run? Oh, that blew my. That's so funny. Yeah. Anyway, Florida man. Yeah. So, Jayson, you're a Florida man.
Yeah, I'm a Florida man for right now, so I'm walking on eggshells down here for sure. Stand your ground down here. Yeah, right, literally. Yeah. Well, keep up the good fight, man. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, Ted, obviously for different acting roles, you go to different cities. Is it ever hard to adjust, whether it's, whatever the circumstances may be, if it's a place that's politically different, like Jay's talking about, or are you able to just kind of like tune that out if you're filming somewhere maybe different for like 5-6 months, whatever it may be?
It's fascinating to go around to different places. I've been all over the world with this business, which is a trip. Yeah, but filmed a thing in Oklahoma right when Trump was rearing his ugly head, and everybody was, a lot of women on the cast, and they were all thinking Hillary, and I'm going, I don't know. Look around. You see what's painted on that barn over there? I mean, it was like, I mean, this is America right here. We're not. This is, the Bay Area is nice, but it ain't America, predominantly, and so, yeah, it was interesting.
Yeah, it's interesting times to say the least.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever been to the White House, Ted?
No, I have not. No.
Well, I'll tell you a story. I went to the White House when Bill Clinton was in office. He became a good friend of mine, and I never won a championship, except for in college. It was the NIT at St. John's University. But I got a chance. He fell in love with my storytelling, and he said, come on up and come on over all the time. But the first time I ever went, you don't walk through the front door. You walk across the street. I don't even know if I should be saying this. You walk down a restaurant, you walk across, and then the Secret Service stops you, and they interrogate you, and they tell you all the things that you can't do. You can't walk over here. You can't go out of the line of sight. If you step over this line, over this bush, you will be shot. If you go over here, you will be shot.
Get out, really?
Yeah, and I'm like sitting in here, and I'm like looking at my lawyer who was going with me as a fundraiser, and I'm like, hey, man, what's going on? He says, don't worry about it. They're just joking. And the guy goes, look, last week a deer tried to jump over the White House lawn. We put 8 bullets in it before it hit the ground. So you better not be joking around in here, Mr. Funny Man, and you better not be over here. You will be shot. So I'm looking at look, you guys invited me here, right?
Yeah,
you
right.
did invite me here. At this time I had a pretty big house, about as big as this house. I can go back there, but so they go to me at the last thing, and I'm looking at this, that all the Secret Service guys are white, except for one guy who's a brother. And I'm looking at him like, come on, brother, give me a break, like, we okay, right? I'm not going to get shot in here. And he's looking at me like, I'm not your brother. And then, so I just go up to him and I go to give him a brother hug, and he goes, hey, and you better not ask that question. And I go, what question? He goes, the question, you know what it is. And I'm going, how the hell would they know what question I wanted to ask the president? But they go and they interview your friends. And of course, friends can't hold a secret. And the question that I had, Ted, was, are there aliens? I always wanted to ask the president that. And they go, you better not ask him that, Mr. Funny Man. And I'm like, if I get a chance, I'm going to ask him that. Are there? I never
No,
really
wait a
got
minute.
a
Wait,
chance.
did the question occur to you beforehand or no?
Yeah, it did. I always
Yeah.
wondered, were they aliens? And
Okay.
so I
Okay.
was like, but I would ask people if I ever met the president, I would tell them, and I would ask the president, are they aliens? So that obviously when they did their background check on me, one of my friends must have said, oh, Jason's going to ask the president that, And but when you went in with Bill Clinton, I could say this, like he would tell me secrets in the Oval Office, like we would have a couple of cocktails, and I got to be careful here because
you might have Secret Service show up at your door.
very small podcast one time. Well, a very small radio show, and then I went to my car wash where I owned, and I went there, and the Secret Service, all black cars were there, and they were like, "Hey, the big guy said, don't tell that story anymore." And I was like. Now I've been, in some bad places. I've been around some bad people. I've seen gangs, but nothing scares you more than pulling up to your car wash and seeing about 20 SUVs all in black there, So, he would tell me stuff like, we really didn't mean to bomb, the Japanese embassy. That was an accident. And I'm not sitting there going, oh my God. I'm never going to make it out of here because if this ever leaks, they're going to think I said it. Like he would go on and tell me stuff that's way above my pay grade and way above telling me because I had no idea what was going on in the world if it wasn't on sports, So I was just like, please, Mr. President, don't tell me anything else. I don't.
Getting deeper and deeper in trouble in hot water.
Man.
I've never met a president. Never.
Yeah, Ted, me either.
No.
So Jay's got that one up on us right now.
Yeah, he's got a lot up on us. Hey, who I'd like to meet is Popovich. Popovich should be our president.
I agree with you. I agree with you. So you you watch the Spurs?
No. I just when people speak from their heart, I listen, and a lot of coaches, are given a forum, players and stuff, and when people have the courage to speak truth to power, I listen. When everyday people, and Popovich, he's not such everyday people, but he's very, very articulate and from his heart, and so that's I've met some sports guys, at movie openings and whatnot. I met Shaq, picked the lint out of his belly button, I met Kobe. Oh, my wife. She we were in Chicago when Jordan first came to town. Okay. And and he kind of took off meteoric, and she was a makeup artist, so she did Michael's makeup for a number of things. You remember that it was a Corvette advertisement. Jordan, he's there leaning against the Corvette and he's spinning a basketball, and the producers are all freaked out because he was nervous and he was really tense looking. He was really tense, and they couldn't get him to smile. And everybody knew Michael has a beautiful smile, and he was uptight and trying to be cool and spinning the basketball and stuff and being hard ass, And producers were pulling their hair out. They didn't know what to do. And Kim, my wife, who was doing his makeup, said, "Hang on, just roll the camera." So they started rolling. He's over there farting around. She goes into, "I just need to touch you up a little bit." She goes in there and she just drops her makeup bag, grabs his face, and gives him a great big tonguey kiss. And then backs out of camera. And if you watch that commercial, that's the take they use right after that, because he's got this great big shitty thing on his face after that. So anyway, so we had this thing going with, and her nephew was at Kansas playing for the Jayhawks, and Michael gave her he was doing a Wheaties box. Well, that was another story. They went in there because they didn't know how. This was a while ago, and they didn't quite know how to light for black people. And somebody said, "Well, why don't we just lighten him up?" And that's when Kim handed her makeup kit to the producer and said, "You go in and lighten him up." Like that.
Like, I'm not doing that.
So she went around and she was buddies with all the lighting people. So she went in and said, made some suggestions about lighting.
Right.
So, anyway, but Michael gave her a signed Wheaties box and a pair of his socks for her nephew who was playing for the Jayhawks, and said, "I'll see you. I'll kind of kick your ass when you get to the NBA." That was fun. I was in Chicago during the Super Bowl shuffle too. So that's when I was paying attention to sports. Since then, we don't have a TV in the house anymore, so I don't see much sports unless I'm hanging out in the bar and I try not to do that anymore.
Ted, did you play any sports growing up or have interest in anything in particular?
I ran track a little bit when I was in junior high school. We had an undefeated relay team. We were very fast. That was fun. And then in high school, I was as tall as I am now, weighed 120 pounds. So I was 5'11", 120 pounds, and I could run and I could catch the ball. But when I got hit, I got hurt. So I didn't. I like football then, you know, and but yeah, no, I've never really had any. Could have been, but it's not something I ended up doing. I smoked too much weed, too many cigarettes.
Smoking weed and running track.
Yeah, right. Yeah. No, the weird thing about weed, though, I love, get a little high and go out and do something physical. It's wonderful. It's nice, it's a good feeling getting into your body. But yeah, the smoke will screw you up,
You know what? I probably smoked weed, Ted, about 5 times in my life. It made me freeze. And I remember I was playing against Bishop Ford High School. We smoked before the game. I'm on the post, and I'm like, throw me the ball, give it to me right here. And they went to throw the ball, and it hit me right in the face and broke my nose. I couldn't even put my hand up.
Sounds like me.
It was the one drug that I just could not function on. I know a lot of athletes smoke now. Marijuana is, look, I'm in the addiction business down here in Florida. It's my passion. I help people get off of these stuff. But
I have mixed feelings about all of it. Weed. I don't know anybody that smacks their wife around when they're high on marijuana, but I know people when they drink, they do.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
And but the thing that we have down here is that a lot of parents call us up and they say, "Hey Jay, my child, 17 years old, but he doesn't have any problems. He's only smoking marijuana all day long, and marijuana is legal now. But so is prescription pills, so is alcohol.
Right.
Misuse of anything.
Sure.
Is misuse of it. So it's a gateway for a lot of people, and the young kids today are smoking things that you can buy in 7-Eleven where you're not allowed to come back from. It just gets to your mind, and if you become schizophrenic, you start smoking this K12 and K2 and the stuff that they lacing it with. It's nothing like when, 30 years ago, you pretty much knew what was in your weed, or if you didn't get a real bag of weed. Today it's wet, which is embalming fluid. They lace it with anything they can, and you got to be careful where you get your weed. And I shouldn't be saying
that's a big thing. That's a big thing that's cool about legalizing it. They can kind of control it and they can keep an eye on it and whatnot. And, I mean, I know high functioning weed smokers. I mean, folks that smoke every day who are deans of colleges and things of that sort. So
yeah,
it can be a good thing for some people. So
I was gonna say there's obviously a lot of
embracing it and legalizing it rather than having it full of crap. A lot of better things.
All right, Ted. So here goes the question. So what do you do with your day? You wake up in the morning and how do you start your day? What you doing all day?
Let's see. Mostly.
It's a good segue.
I'll show you. See how. You there?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
Yeah. You see those mountains back there?
Yeah. Yes. Beautiful.
Oh man, horses.
Yeah.
The hill has eyes.
We get on them and we ride around in the mountains. That's what we do most of the time.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. And then these mountains down here. We just down there. This is called the 50 mile cliff, and we were down there. We hiked basically a mile straight up and got on top of that plateau. And there's like tons of Native American sites and stuff. There's a hunting cabin up there. Oh, you still see me?
Yeah,
yes.
We got you.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it just came on low battery. But that's what we do out here. And also opened a little restaurant. We've got a little restaurant called the Ranch Dog Kitchen down here that my lovely partner has pretty much designed and meistered. It's this cool little restaurant. We're in this little tiny town here at that in the Grand Staircase and Escalante. It's a national monument down here. So we're in the boondocks.
I'm definitely going to have to watch Monk about 15 times before I come visit you out there.
Yeah. No, it's not.
I figured that's what something after watching you in all these horror movies that you would be living in. That's so exact. I'll meet you at the restaurant.
Okay, yeah, come on down.
over.
We have gourmet hot dogs and wild game sausages.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
That's good.
It sounds great. And Ted, I know you just mentioned, the Native American, portion of where you're living near right now. I know your mother had Native American ancestry. Is that something that?
Well, she probably had about as much Native American ancestry as Elizabeth Warren did. That's from an old that's an old interview. But no, there's a fellow Willis Clark, I think, in Kansas, who's supposed to was Cherokee Indian, who's in there somewhere. But I mean, that's just something I think that most WASP people kind of make claim to. But yeah, we're Americans, man. We're all mutts, It's
right.
like you're like half Italian, half like Russian Jew, right? Is that right?
That's pretty much.
Yeah, you're half Polish and half
Yes,
African
I am.
American.
Yeah, Polish, half of yeah.
That's right.
You did your homework.
I mean, it's like it's a big. I think big part of the American identity is this kind of conflicted thing,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
that mixes together. It's like, wait, who am I? Wait, So I got that. My mother's family came off the Mayflower. My father's family came over here from Russia. And they got together and made an American baby. So,
And that's what it's all about, right? That's the American dream right there.
Yep.
So what are you doing for Thanksgiving, Ted?
I'm gonna go to visit to my ex-wife's house, and my son and his wife have a new baby, and just big family thing. I smoked a turkey, and I'm gonna bring that. And girlfriend's gonna make some apple pies and bring those. Sort of American.
Yeah, it sounds perfect. Ted, before we let you go, just want to know any upcoming projects that you're working or that you want to highlight.
I'm working on a thing that's really cool, and I'm hoping it gets another season. It's called Tiny Beautiful Things. Catherine Hahn stars with a bunch of other really fine actors, and it's really Reese Witherspoon's producing with Laura Dern. It's lots of women. I've never been on a set with so many women before, and so it's an interesting thing. And it's based on this book by Cheryl Strayed, Tiny Beautiful Things. She wrote Wild, I guess, and it's pretty cool. So I'm playing an old man.
Well, Ted,
you got to promise me, Ted, if you got a role for a 6'10" guy, you got to, and we're not in the mountains, or we're not in the basement.
Not in the mountains. Okay.
Well, since maybe the mountains we could do now that we become friends, but definitely not in the basement or a barn.
Okay. All right.
Hey, it's good work if you can get it. I'll take the work with you anytime to work with an iconic actor like yourself. I'll work with you anywhere, Ted.
All right. Cool. That'd be a pleasure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could do a buddy movie.
There we go.
Yeah, if you need a role for a sportscaster or something, maybe I'll jump in and get my first credit there, Ted. So just let me know.
Okay. We'll do it.
But Ted, thank you so much for coming on. Really mean it when I say anytime I see you in something, you really are just always so amazing and just always, hit the right note with what you're trying to do. So we appreciate you taking the time and coming on the show today. It's really been fun.
The iconic Ted Levine. Love you,
right
brother.
on.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy Thanksgiving.
Take care. You too.